welcome to Better Call Saul,
Hey, hey.
Season 6, Episode 2, Part 2.0.
Yes.
So how you been, Jay?
Not too shabby, Richard. How about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. We've had quite a while to chew on this episode. Another extra week
Yes.
to see what's going on with the stick and the carrot, or the carrot and the stick. So,
Yes. Episode 2. Kept carrot and
episode
stick.
2. So I'm kind of fed up with this episode. I watched it again just to make sure I knew what was, just to refresh my notes and everything. So
Me
I'm ready to
too.
go.
Yeah,
So
I'm ready to go also.
I'm ready to move on. So let's hope we can do this and move on. So let's get right into it then. The
All
opening
right.
shot with what is the opening shot?
Two Nacho's girlfriends.
Yeah, Nacho. That's right. Nacho's house of ill repute. Well, I don't know if that's what it
Yes.
is or not, but that's right. We start with his girls that are in his
Yes.
house, and
Playing
one of them
dominoes.
dominoes, which is interesting. Thinking that young kids be playing with dominoes, but she seemed to be entertaining herself. That was for
Yeah.
sure.
All the time. All the
She
time.
she liked those red dominoes, and they were
Yes.
falling. So that was the opening right there. And then all of a sudden they get a visitor, and
Yes.
the other girl for some reason answers the door, even after checking did she check the peephole before she opened the door?
A little bit, I think. I think actually Mike might have had a key and it might have twisted and then she had to back up because
Oh,
I
well, that
think
could
Mike
be
had the
too.
key.
Yeah, well, anyway, Mike let himself in then, and
Yes.
and he's bringing his posse.
Yep.
Oh, he has everybody walking in there, and they're trying to say that Nacho's not home, and they know that already.
All right.
So we
Yep.
don't know why,
All of them.
and we don't know why they're there, do we? I mean, Mike real quickly says, "Here's your way out. Here's some money. Take it and get out. If you don't, you only got 5 seconds. If you don't take it, well, then other things are going to happen." Is that correct, Jay?
That is 100% correct. Definitely. Where they came up and told them, Mike just waved that money in front of them and just said, "Hey, you better take this money or like you just stated, it's going to not be pretty."
Nope. Nope, because I don't know how much he told him not to leave town, not come back. That
Yep.
was the word. That was like, you go visit somebody out of state, you don't come back, you don't do anything.
Exactly.
It's like get on a bus and go away. So
Exactly. And I love how Mike talks when he talks to the people in general. He makes it so simple. I mean, he always makes it so simple and so smooth when he comes. It's like tells them, "Hey, if you don't have any friends, make friends. Go to a friend's house. Go to a friend's house." He makes it so simple for people when he's talking to them. That's what I liked about Mike's character. So smooth.
well, yeah. He has a way of cutting right to the chase. I mean, he doesn't mess around. He cuts everything down. Here's the directions: 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just follow these directions. If they're simple, and he doesn't complicate it. 1, 2.
Right.
Take the money, leave. Don't take the money. Well, then you'll be leaving another way. But
Exactly.
So they hesitated at first. I mean, they didn't know what to do. They didn't know if they should wait for Nacho because they don't know. Because right now, Nacho to them is in kind of like limbo. So we don't know
Yes.
what's going on with the Nacho man. So,
Yep.
they just think they don't know where Nacho is or what Nacho was doing. So they're just waiting for him to
Right.
come back.
Or he's still alive.
Yeah, that. Well, I don't know if they think he's dead. They just don't know where he is.
That's true.
They don't know what he's up to. He just comes and goes, and they're just, hanging out. I mean, that's the impression I get, is that they're there just, hanging out with Nacho. I don't know if Nacho has any kind of relationships with them, like sexually or not, but they just hang out with them all the time. So I don't know what the deal is there. I just think, I don't know, maybe they're just friends and they're just hanging out at his pad, just staying.
Possibly. Definitely, possibly.
So that's so these girls, they take the money and run finally.
Finally. Yep. Then they start on measuring the lock, or I should say the bolt of all the stuff that Nacho has in his safe. I should say safe. They actually get some type of machine or something like that to open up the safe so they can get all the stuff out.
Yeah, you mean a safe, a drill safe? Is that what you're or
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Well, they
Yes.
measure the safe. They take their time. They measure the width, and Michael's
Yeah.
talking to somebody on the phone. He tells them what kind of safe it is and the measurements, and
Yes.
and then they get that drill, and those drills start around 500 and go up 500 plus. So I mean, you can get them off of Amazon if you want to. The same one where they have the magnetic strip. You put it on the safe and you go to town. So, and they empty it out, almost all of it, and leave what, and then
Almost.
they got their little plan going on, and
Yes.
that's something. And then we switch to
Howard, or not Howard, but Jimmy. Jimmy talking to Kim.
Yep.
Discussing their plan of the mark of good old Howard.
Yeah.
Working on the staging of how to get the judge, the friend, or not friend, but the other company involved to see if they can get the idea of what Howard's all about. So they're planning different ideas, and that's what we see with Jimmy trying to get coaching, and then Kimmy's watching, is kind of saying, what are you talking, or how are you going to do this? So that's what we saw in the next scene coming up.
Yeah, and because Howard is trying to act like, I don't know, he's like going through different scenarios, like someone that wants to do a lawsuit or something, and I got hurt, blah blah blah, faking injuries or something, and then
Yes.
Then Kim's kind of confused, like, I don't know how this is going to do anything. So then, after Jimmy or Saul goes through all of these shenanigans, Kim finally gets this look in her eye. And then she says, "You're not going to like this."
Right.
And, so there leaves us with another cliffhanger for later on in the show, I believe.
Yes.
And so that was something else. And that's the thing is that Kimmy seems sometimes to really out shenanigan Jimmy. I mean, Jimmy gets these ideas, but then Kim can take, well, you know what? Let's try this instead, because her stuff usually works. So, you should always trust Kimmy, because Kimmy has been doing this. I think Kimmy has been doing this long game, or some of these things more intensely all her life. Because we've seen, we'll find out all about that later on, by why Kimmy is such a master at this. And that's a few episodes down the road, I think. I don't know, maybe.
That's correct.
And so, wow. And so we are going to move on to, we move on to, I don't know. We move on to somewhere. Oh, grill. Oh, then we go back to Fring in the trailer.
Yes.
And, they're
showing him. Right. Yes.
They're
he was
showing
looking
Fring
at all the plans.
That Lalo's dead.
Yep.
And what is that other guy's name? I can't remember his name.
I found out his name is Tyrus.
Okay, Tyrus. I should remember that from Breaking Bad, but I forgot. But yeah, Tyrus.
Yeah. Tyrus and Victor.
That Tyrus, the no nonsense man, and
right,
and a man of few words too. So
yeah, he is too. Yep.
So Tyrus is like, they got the things, and Tyrus is like, what? He's telling Fring that open and shut, right? Yep.
Everything is done. Everyone was burnt from the fire that happened at Lalo's house, and everything, the pictures and everything, the teeth, everything matches. So in everyone's eyes and kind of explaining to Gustavo that Lalo's dead. That's what it pretty much, the facts are there, and that's what Tyrus was showing him, and Gustavo was still kind of, from looking at how he was looking at it, he still was questioning it still. Yeah, but then he had an idea.
He had that detective look in his brain, like, this is just too easy. Why would, it just seems a strange way for Lalo to go after making it out of his compound with all that gunfire, and just to be caught up in a common kitchen fire. Exactly. It was kind of odd. So he wanted to make sure, because he says, we can't leave this overturned, because if he's still out there, we got to know. He's a dangerous man, as you know.
Yep, and Lalo knows about Gustavo and Gustavo's plan, so that's why Gustavo is a little bit, you'll never see him nervous. And that's one thing about his character when it comes to seeing him through the Breaking Bad and also Better Call Saul. He doesn't lose his cool. And this is kind of a little bit loses his cool, because he's really not sure if Lalo is dead, and he knows for sure he's going to come after him and do something to him.
I don't think he lost his cool. He figures that he makes a phone call.
Yeah, he has people.
He didn't. He did not. He called the other representative for the Sakumanas. I mean, that other guy. So, because he wants to remember, he called him and said, "I think I have another way for us to keep the peace."
Right. That's true.
So that is what's going on there, my friend. So
yes.
We don't know really what's going on there, because he's still suspicious. I mean, the other Tyrus and the rest, they want to, just move on, but Fring is always suspicious, and he's always, trying to make sure everything's 100%. That's just the way he is.
Exactly.
I mean, even if it takes a while, and plus he doesn't want to move on, like you said, because Lalo knows that everything that he's doing, and he can't let him get back.
The chicken man.
Get word back. Yep. So yeah.
But I think Gus, at the end of that part, he had an idea. That's one thing. He gave Don Juan a call to kind of see if he can break the ice with Hector and kind of let's bygones be bygones, and let's work on our drug cartel business, and let's squash it. I guess that's the word I would say. It's like, let's squash it, and that's what Gustavo wanted to do, to give Don Juan a call to talk with Hector, and I think that was what was coming up next.
Yeah, because he wants to make sure. Another way to do that is to offer him, like, if one gets attacked, we all get attacked. So he's gone with, we're all big, one happy cartel.
Right, exactly.
And he's saying, because he's also trying to get suspicion off of himself too. Because I'm here, Hector thinks, okay, this was a chicken man. The chicken man did this. And plus, I know maybe he still doesn't. He doesn't trust a chicken man. He never will trust a chicken man. But
no,
they do shake hands after this meeting in the nursing home.
Correct. Yep.
And then because we don't know what they talked about. All we know is we saw that they shook hands, and then we come. I don't know how you can have him at his house. He's dead. Well, not yet anyway. But I guess that's. I guess you could have him there since he's not dead yet. In Better Call Saul in that world. So I guess you can still have him there taking care of him for some reason. But so all of this is, because Fring is just there. He's testing the waters, really. That's what he's doing. He's trying to win him over to get enough information to see what's going on. Yes,
that's what the whole idea of talking with Hector, to kind of see that everything is good and let's continue. But one thing from that nursing home visit, you can just see one thing that Hector doesn't do a lot is look at the Chicken Man or Gustavo. But that was the first time that we saw that Hector looked straight in his eyes, and just gave him that handshake. And you could just feel the tension of Gustavo's face, that something is wrong when he's looking at him like that with a little grin.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting scene. I mean, it was really interesting to see. And it makes you think about these characters.
Right. I mean, it makes you think of who's playing who.
Exactly.
They're both playing each other, I would imagine. But
yeah.
So we find out what I mean. Then later on, and next thing you know, Fring's out in the parking lot, and he makes a phone call.
Yes, he talked with Mike, and I think Mike asked him, "So, what did you get out of that meeting?" And then Gustavo came up and just straight out told him that Lalo is alive.
Yeah, so he got the information that he wanted. So his gambit paid off, going to see Hector, and so now he knows that he's not out of the woods yet.
Exactly. His demeanor is a lot different compared to before when he was looking at those pictures with the teeth and everything. He was still wondering, but now because of that meeting, he's pretty confident. Even though it looks like Mike and Tyrus and all the Gustavo's people, they still feel that Lalo is still alive. I'm sorry, dead. That was kind of looks like.
I don't know if Fring would have said something to Mike might have agreed with him too, because Mike is also a very careful person.
Yes, he is.
We have learned that over the course of Better Call Saul, that Mike is not one to jump to conclusions. He's going all the way back to when he was a cop in Philadelphia.
Correct.
He is. So if Fring has suspicions, well, then Mike will be like, okay, well, let's find out.
Yep.
And where Tyrus, Tyrus was like, well, as you can see, we got the proof. Well, that's, it's not, things are not what they always seem. So.
Exactly.
So, because Mike's a very careful person, and
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah. Plus, we saw him when he was the guy's bodyguard earlier on in the series when he was being the bodyguard. That he was, and he didn't need guns or anything to protect who he was protecting.
Yep, he was very smart. He's always been smart through this series. He's always been that clever guy to kind of find out what's going on, get to the gist of everything.
You're right. Mike is, Mike's probably on board with what Fring wants to do. Like, okay, well, we need to be safe because they're all dead. If they think that Lalo's alive, they're all dead. They're just like, all right. So it was interesting. But Fring has always had this second sense, though. He seems to have it. Maybe he got it real quickly when his boyfriend was killed back in, a while back when he first, tried to. But so far in this episode, everything has a point. There's no wasted nothing, no wasted dialogue, no wasted movement. We're heading to, that's like we've discussed before. That's the thing about this series is that when you watch an episode, there's nothing you can throw away. They've got it edited down to a precision, and there's whatever they left out, they didn't leave too much or too less. They just perfect. They edited it perfectly. The scripts were very strong, and the actors played these characters really well. Wouldn't you say, Jay?
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, every bit of what we see on the episodes is so important, and it gives a kind of a nugget of what we're going to see later on in the show, and it makes the audience really wonder and kind of makes them really want to continue watching the show to see what's going to come up next. What's Gustavo going to do? What's Mike going to do? what's Nacho and Lalo, all these characters, Jimmy and Kim. It's just amazing, and it's very enjoyable. That's why doing this rewatch with you and sharing what we feel on it is really cool. And hopefully this will give other people enjoyment when they're watching the show too.
Because we both like Breaking Bad.
Yes.
But I don't think Breaking Bad was tight because of like it was their first, dip into the Breaking Bad universe. Because there were moments in Breaking Bad where we could, they were still feeling their way around.
Right.
Plus, I mean, the show was brand new and they were just probably trying to figure out what they wanted to do with it. Where it seemed like they had a year or two to actually get Better Call Saul probably really tight because it took a while. I mean, they were going to do it, but it took them 2 years to get it finally on the air at AMC?
I believe so. I think it did take a while for him to put the trigger and decide on putting the show together.
They probably, everybody was probably working on this thing. They talked with the actor Olden Kirk, and he was on board. And they thought, well, let's get this thing, let's get this going. And they got the approval, and they just were able to. And plus, we're in the 6th season now, so I'm sure by now there's like a well-oiled machine.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, right now we're heading for the home stretch. I mean, we're getting ready to wrap this puppy up. It's
find out what's going to happen to all these characters.
Yep. Everything is coming together. It's amazing. Yeah. I like it.
Exactly. And I think after the Gustavo situation where he's talking in the parking lot, I believe the next scene that we get to is where we're looking at Nacho questioning what's going on with him. It's like, I need to leave this hotel and try to find out what's going on. Can I leave so I can be safe? Can Gustavo get me out? Is Salamanca's going to get me? He's just wandering around in that
Nacho
ugly
is
hotel.
Nacho is paranoid at this point. He doesn't know who's.
Yes.
He knows he can't. He's not. He has no plan on leaving out the front door.
No.
Because he doesn't know if he's. I don't know if he's suspicious that somebody's watching him or not, because he keeps looking out that window and it seems like he may have maybe he does think someone's out there watching him. But I don't know if he knows for sure at this time. But he knows that he's still in enemy territory. He's still in Mexico. He's
not safe.
There are eyes all over the place down there, looking for this guy. I'm sure word has spread through the cartel that, hey, we're looking for Nacho, and we don't mean the kind to eat. So, So he was
definitely.
And you got to remember, so he doesn't know. He's just frozen there in that room.
Yep. Don't know how, like you said, just peeking through that hole, hot as heck. I mean, he was trying to get that air conditioner working. It was like banging on it and everything, because it seemed from the scene, it looks like the area that he was at, it was super hot. I mean, very uncomfortable.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're talking Mexico, and we're talking. Yeah, it was like he's out in the middle of a desert. So I mean, and plus we know how that was like when earlier when Mike
Mike and Jimmy
were trying to get out of Mexico when he got that money. So I mean, so we know what that's all about now. I mean, we have an idea, and he doesn't want to walk out there and get his head blown off either. So I mean, he was very, very careful to get that food that was left at his front door. But
exactly.
And plus, he's like you say, it's like he's roasting in that room right now because he can't open up a window or anything. He's just in there because if he opens up the window, that exposes him to a shot. If there's somebody out there,
because it could be Salamanca's. I mean, Salamanca people might be out there and say, "There he is."
Yeah. So so he's fretting right now, and
yes,
because they know that he's alive. He didn't die at that compound or anything.
No.
And and he really sells it. The actor really sells that he is in dire need right here. He does dire straits. He has no clue. He knows that he's not safe.
Right. From nobody. The only person I believe he feels somewhat safe is Mike. That's the only person.
Well, Mike is the only one that he trusts.
Exactly.
And he can't trust anybody else. He knows by now he can't trust Fring because Fring won't let him go. So
right, because he threatened his pops.
Yep. So he knows that Fring finds him expendable too. So I mean, he knows that, and Mike's always gone to bat for him, and he knows that. He knows that too.
Exactly.
So that whole sequence there of him, because we're right there on the edge too, wondering, no, don't stick your head out there. I mean, gee, don't open the door. Oh my gosh.
Right.
It's like he does, and it's like you're like, oh man, he's putting the stress on us, dude. It's it's nuts, but
a lot.
And after all that, then we leave him there, and the next thing we get back to Jimmy or Saul.
Yep, talking with some characters that we haven't seen in a long time.
Well, he's pulling into the parking lot, and he goes to the trailer, and weren't they from season 1? Betsy and Craig,
the Kettlemans,
the guy
Betsy
that embezzled money, the embezzler.
Yes,
and and he's there to talk to him about maybe he can help him again. Maybe he can get these charges dropped against Craig and all this good stuff. And of course, Betsy is not happy to see him. She said, "Get out, leave," because
you messed up my life. My kids are going to a public school.
Wow, that is so unfortunate. Talk about white privilege. Talk about white privilege, right?
Right. Oh my goodness.
Then she calls for her husband. He's like, "Oh, hey Jimmy." I mean, he's being all happy and friendly to see the guy.
Right.
He has a completely different attitude about Jimmy being there than Betsy.
Right.
For sure.
Betsy just despises him.
Yeah, and Greg's like, "Hey, great, hey, good to see you. How you been?" Yep.
That was a funny part.
Yeah, so they chase him. Well, Betsy chases him out of the trailer, and I'm in the back there, and Jimmy goes into this spiel about how he can help them, right?
Right. But there is some way that Jimmy or Saul was kind of wondering. He didn't want him, like in season 1, where he did tell Betsy some ideas, and then Betsy went off and went to somewhere else and got the idea from someone else. So Saul's a little smarter this time to say, okay, I want to make sure that you don't run off to someone else, some other judge or company or anything like that with my information. So he kind of made them sign some paperwork before he'll spill the beans about a certain person that has done some bad stuff.
Well, remember before we get to that, they reject him, and so he leaves because they don't want to have any more. She doesn't want to have anything to do with him, and she's like, "Well, I'm not." At first, she said, "I'm not going to sign nothing," and he goes like, "Okay, well," he leaves.
Right.
And then he turns that corner, and then they chase after him. Well, as he's walking, he grabs that pin, like, okay, he's waiting.
Got it right here.
He's waiting for it. He's like, wait for it, and then boom, they come around the corner.
Exactly. Craig said, wait. Yep. What information are you talking about? What are you talking about that can save Greg to be an innocent person? What is it?
Yep. And and that's when he says, well, I'm going to have you sign these pieces of paper.
Exactly.
And Betsy's not exactly gentle when she signs the piece of paper on his back. You can see him like, oh my, because he's like, she probably left the red mark.
Right. Put a little stab on the back.
Yeah. So, and so he finally tells him, about, well, maybe one of the attorneys was kind of on, not all there, could be using drugs or whatever. They thought, and Betsy goes, "Do you mean that blonde with the ponytail was?" He goes, "No, no, it wasn't
No,
Kim. It
not
was
Kimmy.
Harry. It was Howard." Okay, so and then of course,
And they questioned it too. They're like, he seemed like a pretty good guy. He didn't seem like a person that had that type of demeanor for him to be having cocaine and using cocaine. They were very surprised.
they go, "Oh, he's always so happy and energetic," and they're describing how a person would be if they're on cocaine. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Ah,
You know, so right there, Saul's just letting them come to their own conclusion, and they finally do. And of course, then Betsy goes, "It doesn't matter what we've signed, we know we can go elsewhere." And so they say, "You're not leaving me," and I go, "Oh, yes, we are."
yep, you're
So
fired.
you're fired. And in the background while they're talking, we can see in the background that there's this little floaty balloon of a Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
We know what that's from, and we see that's the first appearance of that, and maybe that's where Jimmy knew it was back there. But so, as far as right there, Jimmy is playing them. Whatever plan that Kimmy has come up with, it's right now it's working like a team.
Yes.
And this all has it has to be part of the plan ever since him clicking the pen. Thinks, okay, he's got this is some kind of this is whole one big plot, and I think he knew they were going to do that to him, and he's trying to play it off. Oh, you're not going to leave me, and they go, okay, but he knows.
He knows.
I mean,
yeah.
This is one of
that
those
was a
things
whole point.
It's one of those things where everything has to work out too. I mean, you just you have to he has to know that you have to kind of know that you're banking on on Betsy and Craig to do what they're supposed to do, because at this point they have to go where they go next, because if they don't, well then it's all for naught. I mean, they just Jimmy and Kimmy just wasted a lot of time coming up with this plan.
Right, that's true. They had to go to all these different lawyers to explain that we want to get exonerated.
Yeah, instead of, because they could have just said, they could have decided not to do anything.
True.
And that would have just, would have ended right there. So where did they go? So where did they go next? There, where do we see Betsy and Craig again? There, Jay.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the next part will be one of Clifford. They go to Clifford Main's job and discuss with Clifford and Maine about a particular person from a different lawyer company to see if they can get exonerated, and want to talk to Clifford and Maine and see if they can use him, Clifford and Maine, to help us with the case to get exonerated for Howard being a cocaine addict and using cocaine.
Yeah, and they've already put things in Clifford's mind that it might be kind of true. So I mean,
exactly.
it's already been planted for the last couple episodes that Howard might be, but I don't think Clifford still wants to believe it. He doesn't.
Right. He didn't sound believable. He's like, Howard,
no,
it can't be Howard.
Don't. But yeah, so what happens at the office when they're trying to talk to Clifford about this big case that they have? Like, they're all excited about this.
Yeah, definitely. And they just tried to explain it to Clifford to take the case, because of, they want Craig to be exonerated. I believe that's what they wanted, but Clifford was saying no to it because it'll be the interests will not work for the best for them, because Clifford is already working with Howard on another case, which I believe will be the Sandpiper case. So it's it'll be a situation where it not be a good idea for them, for interest purposes, to do this. So that's why he said, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. And he mentioned any lawyer they go to will pretty much not take this case at all. Greg is pretty guilty, so
And there's
stop.
and he's still saying even if it were to go to case, there's a chance she wouldn't even win. I mean, there's just because they're all excited. They think they've got this thing all wrapped up. They're just handing him the pieces.
Exactly. Yep, and they always, I forgot that they said something where they'll find out about everything at the end. I forgot the word they used. I can't remember what they said, but it was something they said where discovery. I'm just thought discovery. They find out everything in discovery with Howard.
Yeah, that's a nice little. Yeah, that's something common. Yeah, we'll find out in discovery. Well, they hope to find out in discovery. It doesn't always work out that way, but that's how you get.
It doesn't.
That's usually what lawyers use to hook clients. And now they're trying to turn the tables. Like, yeah, you'll find out in discovery. It's like, yeah, no, that's not. No, that's our game, not yours. That's not your. We use that card. You guys aren't supposed to know about that card, but
right. Exactly.
Oh yeah,
but it was interesting.
So they lay out this stuff about and they're talking to Clifford about yeah, and Craig's like, yeah, he's on cocaine, and he's like, how do you know that? Well, it was common knowledge in the yard, and then Clifford goes,
yes,
common knowledge in the yard, like he's some hardened criminal, like
right.
Like he was so
that is
hard.
funny.
He spent time in a federal prison or something like that. Like how would Clifford was kind of like making fun of him a little bit, but it's funny when he uses that terminology, common knowledge in the yard, like he's watching too many James Cagney movies. But yeah,
exactly. That is funny.
That's what caught me. That's what I've been looking for. I knew there was something that caught my attention when I watched it today when they were. When that came up, I like, okay. But Clifford rebukes him in the end, like saying, "No, I'm not going to come in. That we're done."
No, it's like, no, we can't do it. But like Kimmy was putting together, if that nugget is in there for Clifford to think about it, even though he still doesn't believe it, but he's still thinking about what happened with the golf course, where he was just sitting with his friend, and then all of a sudden he opens his locker, and then a little bag came out.
Plus the hookers.
Yes, plus the hookers also. It's like all those things are kind of adding up to the behavior of Howard is a little bit suspicious. So Kimmy's plan is working.
Clifford is still trying to give him a benefit. I was like, no, this is all bullshit. Like I don't know what's going on, but this is not Howard. Or whatever. So,
right.
It's so, so I think what's happened here is that Kimmy knew that they would go they would go look for other attorneys. They would all turn her down.
Right.
And they have to come back to Jimmy.
Yes.
Because, everybody has denied him, but Jimmy seemed absolute that he could win this case.
Yeah, he was so confident. Yep. He put that. He's a good salesperson. That's one thing I like about Saul. He's a really good salesperson when it comes to things. And you can really believe him. I mean, whatever he's trying to say to you, even though it might be kind of hogwash, it's like he's a really extreme good salesman when it comes to things. And you believe him. It's like, maybe he could get us out. Maybe he could find a way to get this situation lesser than maybe instead of 20 years, he can maybe put it down to 10 years or 5 years. So that's one thing I like about Saul's character, Jimmy. He's always been a good salesperson.
Yeah, but he's always been able to help out his clients though. It doesn't matter how goofy he acts at times or his commercials. He was able to get his clients off most of the time. That even if they knew that they were pulling a scam, they thought they were pulling a scam on Jimmy, but Jimmy was pulling the scam on them too, and they both would benefit in the end.
Exactly. And,
Jimmy comes back to the trailer because they had this business. We didn't talk about this yet. They have a business where they're doing tax returns.
Yes.
They had this old beat up trailer that they're working out in the middle of nowhere. It looks like.
Yep.
So they would do people's income tax. They would. That's what they're down to now from that big mansion they had and the whatever they had. Now they're working in some crappy trailer, like
Just trying to survive.
Yep. With their rubber, their bouncy house Statue of Liberty. So
Exactly.
that's what they're doing. And so now Jimmy comes back to visit him at the trailer. I think they've called him back. But Jimmy's not alone.
Oh, you're talking with Kimmy, correct?
Yeah.
I see. But I think before that, I think I'm trying to
Before
remember.
that, we had the final showdown with Nacho in the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Hotel room.
Yeah.
That's where we go next. But still, like I said, well, stay tuned when when Kimmy shows up because things really start hitting the fan.
Always.
You're right. We do. We Nacho is trying to figure out what's going out. He thinks things are going on, and he kind of doesn't he take his frustration out on that poor air conditioner?
Yes, he did. He did. He banged that sucker so hard to get it through to fall it down to the floor. I mean, he gave it some like kicks and kicks and kicks, but it finally got off, and he was able to escape in the back of the hotel to kind of find out what's going on. I mean, he really wanted to just find out what is happening. What's the deal?
There was that building across the way from his hotel room. We didn't mention that. I mean, that's what he's looking at because there's this like deserted building back there, and I think he's looking at first you think he's so paranoid that he's seeing things or whatever, but he has his suspicions about that old building.
Yes, he was wondering. Little peephole. It's like he kind of looked like the little hole in there was kind of open to see maybe someone's looking at him to make sure that if he does leave, they will call and say, okay, he's leaving. We better get him and try to get him put back into the hotel. So he kind of had a suspicion that building that was looking deserted with all the graffiti and the wood and everything, like someone was looking at him.
So now we find out that's true.
Very true. Very, very true.
Because there's a guy in there and he's looking for Jimmy. I mean, not Jimmy, but Nacho. That's his job. He's looking to see where if Nacho's going to come out and see him as a lone gunman.
Exactly. That was a whole plan. Or I should say it was, from what we found out is Tyrus and Gus and them, they're the ones that hired this guy to look over it. Even though he never mentioned their names or anything like that, they just gave him the money and say, sit here in a hot sun, eating your little Cheetos, and watch this dude and see what he's going to be doing if he leaves. Give them a call. That was his job.
Was it Fring that hired him?
I mean, I'm thinking that. What do you think? I mean, do you think it might have been Salamancas? You think?
But what his job?
Because I'm wondering too. Maybe you can tell me.
Well, I'm trying to think I was thinking that he was there to shoot Nacho. Not watch it, because I mean, remember he had that gun, and wow, that is something. I thought that was he was there. Cause I'm trying to figure out how Fring and Mike would know he was there unless they have deep hands into Mexico. I thought that was a cartel thing because they would get the word out, and someone would eventually look. I think he's here. They just have people, throughout. I don't know. I just thought it was the Sacamancas. Maybe I'm wrong. I just thought it was them the way, he was still trying to get to,
I'm not sure. I'm feeling from what I've seen or that scene, I feel like it could have been Gustavo's people. The reason I'm saying that is that when Nacho came in the back of the guy with eating the Cheetos and everything, and he had the little towel, the white towel, and dumped it in the cooler because it was so darn hot, and put on his head. And then he had that gun straight at the guy and told him just to don't move. And then I believe one thing that this is what I think is why I'm thinking is Fring. Nacho used his phone and said, I want to get out of here. And he was talking with Tyrus. That was Tyrus on the phone saying, I need to get out of here. And Tyrus was like, no, you need to stay. You need to stay. And then he hung up. And then right after he hung up, then the phone rang. So I'm thinking that phone rang, it was maybe Tyrus talking to the guy and telling him. And that's when I think after that, the guy was like saying, if you say anything or make any noise, they're going to come and get you. And then he just walked over and he hit him with the gun.
Yeah, he was like, well, I'll hear the shot. Someone will hear the shot if you shoot me.
Right, exactly. But he didn't do that. He just hit him.
He has his back towards Nacho. He's talking to he's still looking forward. Well, you can't shoot me, but nothing said he can't hit him over the head with whatever he did. That
right,
a fire extinguisher or whatever he had, he just knocked him out.
Exactly. So that's why I'm thinking it might have been Nacho. I mean, might have been Fring's crew.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. But now that he's dealt with that, he has another problem. Once he gets out of that frying pan, he jumps into another one, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He knows he's in trouble, and he needs to leave that hotel. So he's running over to try to get a car that can run. But all of a sudden, I think you mentioned how the Salamancas are so smart. They block the whole area with their cars and everything. And here come the Salamancas coming at them to get Nacho.
Yep.
Go get him. That's what they were there for. Yep. Because they found out where he was at.
In that truck, and he's trying to get out, but here they come, and then they're just surrounding the place.
Exactly. And this is the old famous gunslinging that they done on the show, which I enjoy watching. I mean, they do the action gunshots so well when it comes to the Better Call Saul and even Breaking Bad, which these things we'll maybe talk about in the future. But I mean, it's some really awesome work that they do when it comes to the gunfights that happen. It feels like you're there when you're there watching Nacho creating for his life, and then you got the cousins coming and everything, and then all these other people, guns flying all over the place. It was amazing. What you felt? Did you feel the same way, Richard?
Well, you're saying cousins, but it's the Silent Brothers and the rest of the gang, and they get there, and he's hiding in a truck, and they're up running around, searching the rooms, looking for Nacho.
Yes. Exactly.
And he's freaking out. He's freaking out because he's stuck in the truck, and they're all over. So then he finally gets found out. And that one part there, where he's in the truck, and one of the guys is, he's there standing in front of the truck, but the silent guy, the silent guy just goes ahead and shoots him. The same,
right.
The person on the team to get to Nacho, because he didn't want to wait around. They said boom, and then they went, then all hell broke loose after that.
Exactly. Yeah, they want him alive. That's one thing they did say to all the other people. It's like
they were afraid he was going to kill them, and they said no, you want him alive because they want to get some information from him.
Exactly. They want to find out who are you working with. I know you're working with someone. You're not working with Lalo. You're working with someone. So who is it? So that's why.
Well, we forgot about when the other guy searched his safe, or the dummy safe that Mike replaced with that. So remember they went back and they opened it up and they just found a little bit of cash in his deposit slip. They didn't tell him much of anything. So I think
just the hotel.
Because they would have. If the stuff would have stayed, if Mike wouldn't replaced it, they would have known that Nacho was working for Fring, and that would have blown everything. So,
yeah, exactly.
So and that's that part where they were using that they didn't use they used a blowtorch, and almost caught things on fire, which is why you don't use a blowtorch around paper. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
But so they left the fake number and they called it, and it was a fake person that worked at a certain bank. It was all set up and everything worked out. So they had no suspicion really at that point to prove that Nacho was working. Who he was working with? Right now, they just knew that they couldn't figure it out.
Right. Exactly.
To go to the point where you said they wanted to keep him alive and they didn't want that guy to shoot him. So one of the Silent brothers shot him and said, no, boom, and just shot him. Killed him instead.
Yes, sure did. Said alive. They want him alive. I think he said in Spanish.
Yeah.
But he wanted him alive. And pretty much from there, they did the gunslinging with a car.
Did the brothers say that? Did one of the brothers actually speak, or is that somebody else?
No, actually, one of the brothers spoke. They did spoke. I mean, I might be saying the Spanish wrong, but I think he said "vivo," which I believe means alive.
Well, I mean, but that's the first time we've seen them talk as adults.
Exactly.
That was. I mean, that's really interesting because we haven't seen neither one of them talk forever since Breaking Bad when they were little kids, and now it's like, wow, they actually. I just thought of that right now. That this guy actually, one of them actually spoke. It's like, are you kidding me? And it's weird that he spoke too because the guy was already dead. So I don't know why he was speaking to him. It doesn't make any. Yep. And here's some foreshadowing too, because Nacho backs up the truck toward one of the brothers, doesn't hit him, and then he speeds off. Right.
Exactly.
After Nacho drives the truck right towards him, and they're shooting at his windshield. I mean, this is some Daredevil crap right there. I mean, just he's racing right into the gunfire. I mean, for him to escape was. I'm going to tell you one thing: these Silent brothers can't aim worth a darn.
It looks like it because it seemed like for how they were standing. It seemed like Nacho could have got hit. It looks like he could have got hit maybe on the shoulder or something.
He didn't have a dark windshield. The thing was, it was like you could see him, and it's like they hit everywhere but where he was at. And they had trouble too, and they're trying to kill Mike. Not Mike, but in Breaking Bad, what was his name? The DEA agent.
Schrader.
Yeah, Schrader. They had trouble there too, but of course Schrader had a warning, so he knew they keep an eye out on him. But still, they were. He did get hit, so I mean, they didn't really miss him. But to miss someone that's driving right towards you in a clear windshield, that's something else. I mean, you think eventually you'd hit him. But luck was in his favor, and he raced off.
He did. Yep. I don't know how he did it, but he sure did. He actually got away with a busted truck with busted tires. He got away. I don't know how he did it, but he went through that wall, and from there we just don't know what's next for Nacho. I mean, I don't know if he maybe.
Yeah, I wonder how long it took them to get all that to get that to work out in rehearsal and get the filming down, because there's a lot of moving parts in that.
It was.
You had vehicles racing toward people. I know some of that probably was stunt doubles, but still you had to plan that out. So I mean, it wasn't an easy. I wouldn't say it was an easy scenes to shoot. I mean, they really had to have it timing down, and the whole thing probably took I don't know how long it took, but it seemed like it would take a lot of work and a lot of
a lot of different angles.
And the angles too, because of different camera angles. So you're talking, but and Nacho makes it out. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, we'll definitely see for sure. Definitely.
So
I think then they go back to the trailer.
Then we go to the trailer where Jimmy walks in, and I think they called him this time. They called him back. So
I think it's not that trailer. I think it's a trailer with Gustavo and Mike.
Oh yeah, the showdown. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
The showdown. Yeah.
Yes, when they're. Yeah, it's interesting that Gustavo has a trailer too. It's like, what's up with these trailers? I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, trailers. They must have got a good deal from some kind of company there in New Mexico on trailers.
Yeah,
or maybe they were
exactly. I was like tripping out on that.
Cheaper to rent a whole house or office building. Just they'll throw down some trailers and we'll be fine. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. So this is really this is a showdown. This thing could have played out so much. This could have played out so many different ways where it could have been bad for Mike.
Sure could have been. It looks like it was pretty much a done deal for him because it was Gustavo and then Tyrus and then Mike. And of course, Tyrus, he's always be with Gustavo no matter what. So Mike was in big trouble. He looked like he was in big trouble because Gustavo wanted to use his dad, Nacho's dad again, to see if Nacho could come out and beat him, kind of help Gustavo with everything. He was using his dad again as a pawn for things, which was not cool.
But Fring wanted Tyrus to do what though? Not just use him. Well, use him, but not alive.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's key there, Jay.
Very
go
key.
There and hold him hostage, and then luckily Mike understood enough Spanish where he knew go kill Pops.
Right. And Mike was like, "No, we're not having that."
Nope. And then this is where Tyrus points the gun at him right there in the trailer.
Exactly.
I like what Mike
was
says.
so cool.
Mike's like, I don't know how you think this is not going to play out the way you think it is.
Exactly. That's a popular line right there.
And Mike's just standing on that gun pointed at us that, it's not like Mike has. What's Mike saying? I mean, what's he doing? That guy's, Tyrus is ready to blow his brains out.
Yep, that's true.
So
very true.
But once
that
again,
was a trip.
Yeah, once again, Mike is able to get his point across and get Fring to, back down a little bit. And it's not easy to have Fring back down.
No.
But Mike sometimes can do it. I mean, Mike has it. Sometimes it seems like I still think it's not there yet, but Fring is learning to trust Mike a little bit because of things that have already happened. And it seems like, in a way, Fring does trust him, but in a way he doesn't, because the first episode where Fring wanted to kill him and Mike was like, no, we don't want to do that. And Fring's like, sometimes, a person is expendable. Doesn't matter. Well, he said, yeah, he's loyal, but didn't mean anything. Right. Fring says we're going to kill him because he doesn't like loose ends because, Nacho wanted out. Right.
Right. He wanted out. He did what he's supposed to do. He did everything that Gustavo wanted him to do. And Nacho felt like, I'm done. I'm free. I should be free. I mean, I did everything. Let me out. But Gustavo didn't feel that way.
Yep. And then, Gustavo was still kind of holding. That's when Gustavo started using his dad against him. Like, oh, you want to stay in line or are we going, poor Pops.
Exactly. Yep. Pops going to be bye-bye.
Pops might get popped. So, you might
exactly.
So Mike is standing up again for Nacho and his dad. I mean, saying that's not what's going to happen. So it was kind of stressful there because you didn't know because Tyrus is the one that really Tyrus is the one that he follows Fring no matter what.
No matter what.
Exactly. He's one of the yes men. He's one of the yes men. So.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean,
and then,
Mike is not exactly a yes. He's not. Mike is loyal to him, but not a yes man.
No. He'll speak his mind. He'll truly speak his mind and let everyone know what he's going to do, even though if you don't like it or not, he's going to let you know what he's going to do.
Yeah, Mike still has his own conscience. He's not like follow orders. To hell with it.
Right.
Plus, Mike has grown to like Nacho too. I mean, Mike has seen Nacho playing both sides, which is not easy to do, especially him being a young kid. Oh, not a kid, but a young guy put
Yeah, in
put
this
in that
business.
situation.
Yeah,
You know,
with all this drug stuff.
I mean, you're going to, you're playing both sides of this candle there, and it's easy to get burnt. So,
Yep.
like I said, the Saccomanos were still looking at Nacho with suspicion as we saw the whole episode.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
I think one thing that happened from that little showdown, which I guess Mike must have some type of telepathy or something like that, but that phone call that he got, which was actually Nacho on the phone, perfect timing, of course, on that conversation to let Mike know that I'm talking with Nacho, and Ty was like, "Nah, that can't be right." But I've been trying to call him, and he's like, "Nope, this is him. He's been trying to call since he's been up there." So
yeah.
So it kind of was a interesting conversation that they had and everything. And then Nacho was like saying he wanted to speak with Gustavo, and I'm still kind of curious. What did they talk about? So that's one thing that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, but why would Nacho answer a call from Tyrus? Anyway,
Right.
I mean, I don't think Nacho knows who Tyrus is. Well, maybe he does, but he doesn't trust him if he does.
Right. That's the word right there. Trust. He didn't trust him at all. I mean, he felt like it was over.
Yeah. So why would he answer? So and Nacho's right. I want to talk to Mike, and then I want to talk to the main man, Frank. I don't. Tyrus can't help me.
Nope. Only
Tyrus
Gus.
isn't going to go because Tyrus not going to go to bat for him.
Nope. He's all with Gus. He's all with Gustavo.
If anything, so he knew. So Nacho isn't stupid. I mean, he's not stupid. I mean, he might be a little inexperienced, but he's not stupid. Especially when he was down there talking to the head guy at the cartel in Mexico too. I mean,
Don Eladio.
Tell him in his plan. How are you going? When he asked him, "How are you going to make me money?" and Nacho was talking about biker gangs and all this crap, and but anyway, he was able to pull that off. So he knows what so he's able to fit in, but like I said, he was still playing both sides, and he had to be scared shitless talking to the main man, the main cartel man, lying to him. Like, oh my gosh, I'm lying to this guy. He could have me shot right now. I mean, it's just if I looked at him, if he suspects that I'm lying to him, I guess be bye. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so luckily Nacho was able to talk to Fring, and at that point in time was not going to have his head blown off. So, I mean, get killed later on. So, or at least hopefully save his pops. So, Nacho was able to say the right stuff to him. So I don't know if Nacho was still trying to say, "Look, I've been loyal to you. I'm down here in Mexico getting shot at left and right."
Right, with the Salamanca on my tail.
Yep, and I haven't given you up yet, and I'm not going to. I don't know. We don't know what he said, but whatever he said was the right thing. Fring liked it, at least for now. Fring was, and called it off.
Exactly.
So then now we're done with that part with Nacho, and then now we go to the other trailer.
Yes. Now that's the next trailer with this the Statue of Liberty. We're going back to the Kettlemans.
The
Kettlemans are pissed off.
Their tax scheme thing they got going on. But anyway, Jimmy, this time they called Jimmy in. I mean, Jimmy is there at their invitation. And Jimmy brings somebody along with him that they did not expect. And
I think Kimmy wanted to come. I think that's what she asked. She said, "Can I come with you?"
Yeah. Well, she knew that Jimmy would. She was afraid that Jimmy, but Jimmy can sometimes be. Well, yeah. Well, sometimes Kimmy has to come in and be the hard ass.
I think I agree with that. I do agree with that. And I think because they're married, that helps a lot with things compared to if they were just dating. If they were not married, things could be a little bit different from the conversations they've been having with these people. So I think Kimmy
Kimmy
does have she has her head on correctly as far as things.
Yeah, but because Jimmy can talk a good game, but I think Kimmy can be a better bluffer, or not even a
Yeah,
bluffer. She can actually, you know what? Because they first get there, they're surprised to see Kimmy, and Jimmy's talking to them, and they're still not kind of sure about it, and Kimmy says basically to hell with it, and she starts making a phone call.
yes, that terminology of a carrot and a stick. And
Yeah,
I think the Jimmy was doing the carrot with the money, but Kimmy's like saying, "Forget the carrot, let's go with the stick."
yeah,
That's phone call.
yeah. That phone call, she calls the IRS is who she calls, right? Or somebody
Yeah.
with the IRS. She's because they're doing the tax scheme, and
Yep. Stealing people's money off of what they're supposed to really truly get
yeah, they
and
wasn't
taking
giving the
it
full
for
refund.
themselves.
They weren't giving them the full refund, and
Refund, exactly.
yeah, and
Keeping it for themselves.
she's explaining to this guy what's going on, and he's like, "That sounds like something we're interested in," and he says, "Well, here, let me talk. I'll get this one guy on the phone. He'll be interested too." And while that's going
Exactly.
on, while Kimmy's waiting.
It's like Betsy was kind of like nervous. She was like really like, "Don't do this, please, please don't do this. We'll do anything for you." That's what Betsy was kind of responding on Kimmy's stick. She put it. She was very convincing to put that stick out there for her a threat to the whole Betsy and Craig.
Yeah, and Kimmy's like, how much you guys, she's trying to figure out how much money they were making, and I think it was more than Kimmy realized, and then she's like, you need to pay these people back.
Right, exactly.
Off that phone, she was trying to make sure you got to pay these people back.
Yep.
Because she wants to hurt them financially too. She doesn't care for these people.
No, she doesn't. She does. They're just part of the scheme to help get this bar for
Kimmy's concerned, they're doing a bad thing. Kimmy's not evil, but because she's going to want to make these guys punish. She's not going to condone it.
No, she's not. She's not.
So yeah, they agreed.
I believe after that, Betsy pretty much said, "Okay, I'll do whatever you want," and then that's when Kimmy said what she needed to say, and then left the room, and then just Jimmy. It's funny. There are times out there that Jimmy or Saul is very silent. It doesn't say a word. There's a couple of times like that. I think last one was the gun thing too.
Doesn't believe what he's seeing. He doesn't believe what Kimmy. He's very impressed about what Kimmy's doing there. Okay, God, I don't think Saul or Jimmy expected her to do this, to go off book like she did.
Right.
I don't think that was planned. I think that Kimmy said, "Oh, screw this. We're going," and he's like. He's also like, okay. He's also surprised, but
yeah. I think Kimmy does that to Saul sometimes. Surprises Saul a lot when it comes to things.
When they remember she's the one that started doing the big scams with him at the restaurants and doing all this kind of stuff with him, and even going further than what he would do. And she's always seemed pretty good at running these little games. If you want to say,
she did really good. Yep. She has some skill herself.
And it looked like she enjoyed it more than Jimmy did. Jimmy liked it too, but it seemed like she brought it usually. Like Kimmy always brought it up a notch. Jimmy had his thing, but then Kimmy had this other whole different gear.
Exactly. And the word I think will be coming to play later on in the future is Kimmy. It's fun for her. It's fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, she seems to enjoy. They both seem to enjoy it, but I think Kimmy just had a little bit more mirth out of it than Jimmy does.
Yes,
she
I think so.
With it. And like you were saying, after she makes that phone call, she leaves to go wait for Jimmy.
Yes. Yep. And then find out that she asked. I bet you gave him the money anyway.
Yeah, because she was supposed. Yeah, because that wasn't part of the plan. That was the carrot, and then
Right.
Jimmy
But
ends
you
up
still gave
giving
it to
him the
her.
carrots. He says, "Yeah," which is interesting. Like I think you made the point that they have the money, but they're probably going to use it to help pay back the people they ripped off.
True.
But yeah,
That
and I
is
think
true.
that. But doesn't Jimmy stare at the Statue of Liberty a little bit more while he's out there this time? When he looks up and notices the Statue of Liberty while he's out there
Yeah.
talking to Jimmy in the parking lot.
Yeah. I think it looks like from this episode, I saw like 2 times in this episode that he was really fond of that Statue of Liberty. I mean,
Yeah,
even driving up, pulling. I remember he was pulling up to the place. He was like, "Whoa!" It's like he was truly fond of it. I guess he already had like an idea of what he might want in the future for his
yeah.
lawyer office.
The gears were starting to turn, weren't they, Jay?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. But he was into it. I saw his terminology like, "Whoa!" I mean, goodness,
Yeah,
I want that.
that's an idea.
Yes.
So they hop in the car and they start driving off. Then what happens, Jay? Something very ominous
Well,
happens.
we hear in the background another car driving, or I should say another car ignition start and pull right behind them, going away or following Kim and Saul. And to right now we don't know if that's Lalo. We don't know that. I mean, it might be him, it might be someone else. We just don't know. So it always comes out to like a little tease. It's kind of like an interesting thing where we'll see what's the next thing that's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they take off, and then all of a sudden, like you said, this ominous car takes up after him. And I think everyone probably knows that it's Lalo because he's chasing these people down. Because I don't think anyone believes we know he's alive. So why wouldn't we believe that? So now we got to figure out, okay, now what's his game now? I mean, is he going to,
Right.
Now he's after those two as too, not just Fring, but he's after, he wants to, because he has no reason to trust him anymore either, does he?
True. Very, very true.
I mean, they could have been in on setting him up down there in Mexico. Yeah, he doesn't know. He does not know who to trust at this moment in time, does he?
The only person I believe he can trust is Hector.
Yeah, his
Hector
uncle.
Salamanca.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's
it.
His uncle or his cousin. I can't remember if that's what it is, but whatever. That's only the bellman. Yeah, that's the only guy he can trust. Because remember he talks to him all the while he's in Mexico trying to leave, and and even though he goes against Hector's word, sometimes he goes against Hector's plan. Hector's like, no, don't. And he's like, nah, I think I want to go do this anyway.
Right.
Yeah. He doesn't always listen to him, but they're both on the same page when it comes to the chicken man.
Exactly. That's the key.
They just don't agree on how to go about it. That's what but yeah. So
exactly.
But like I said, anyway, he doesn't know who to trust, so he's going to start. He has to start somewhere, right? And the easiest targets are going to be those two because he can't get to Fring right now. He's too well guarded. There's just these two are not guarded. I mean, he could probably walk to them at any point in time and say, "Hey, blah blah blah." So anyway, I don't think we're giving anything away on who the guy in the car is. It's just now the suspense is what's going to happen next episode if he does catch him. What's next?
Exactly.
He's going to shoot him. They're going to be tortured. It's just what's going to happen next on the next episode.
That's the thing.
And that's going to make you want to come back. And plus, you're going to come back to find out what's going on with Nacho too. I mean, we got a lot of things going on here. And plus, the Silent Brothers are still alive too. So where are they going to show up again?
Exactly.
And what's Fring's master plan? He still has to get even though he kind of made the peace with Hector, we know that's not a done deal.
Nope. It's a lot of questions, which is great. That's what this show is all about, and enjoying watching it and giving those ideas and thoughts. So it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is. So I think we're finally done with this episode, and we're ready to move on to episode 3 next Sunday.
Yes.
Isn't that one called Rock in a Hard Place then?
Yes.
Ooh,
yep.
That sounds ominous as well, doesn't it, Jay?
Yep. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Who's going to live and who's going to die?
Right.
Yeah, because I
gotta
mean,
wait.
things, you know, it's only 2 episodes in, and we're already the tense. The tense is all, you know.
I know that's true. That's so
It's
true.
already so tense. I mean,
Yep.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I know I didn't watch it. I didn't start. I mean, I binged it or kind of binged it on Netflix. I didn't have to go week to week. I couldn't imagine doing that with this.
Oh
this
God,
series.
me too.
Going week to
Me
week. Going,
too.
I can't wait till next week. Are you kidding me? No, because the whole week you be going, what's going to, you know, you'd be like, what's going to happen? This is crazy.
Right.
It's driving me nuts.
Yeah.
If you can watch 1 or 2 at a time, well, then you can kind of get that monkey off your back a little bit. But still,
True.
you still don't know how it's going to. Even when you do, even if you do binge it, you're still going to be in such tatters. Going through 13 episodes, like, oh, I mean, you're going through withdrawal and insanity. You're going to need medication to get through this.
Right.
You're going to need
So
your
true.
anxiety medication. So it's a good sell.
Yes.
Well, I think we're done. You have anything else to add, Jay? If not, we'll get out of here and let people get back to their evening.
Just want to let everyone know. Thank you for watching. Myself and Richard give a little our synopsis of the episode 2. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Oh, what's that? Oh, I love it. Keep on trucking. Yes. And everyone hopefully enjoyed it, and looking forward to everyone coming back and seeing us discuss episode number 3.
Finally.
Yes. We did it.
Finally, we wanted something new.
Exactly. Looking forward to it. How about yourself, Richard?
Yep. Hey, same thing. We'll catch you on the flip flop, man. We'll catch you next Sunday at 6, 3 o'clock on the West Coast. We'll get back at it, and we'll see if we can do it any justice. We'll catch you later.
Bye, guys.